She proudly raised the paper as if it were a prize. "Daddy, look at this." Crayons, stick figures, a house, a red sun with jagged rays. All the charming chaos of a child's creation. However, my smile faltered as I noticed it. A black featureless silhouette standing beside my bed. Unmistakable even in its simplicity. My daughter leaned in and whispered to me, "He comes every night after you fall asleep," as if confiding a secret she feared would upset me. I remained silent, taking the paper from her hand and staring at it until she skipped away, humming to herself. That night, sleep eluded me. I positioned the camera discreetly behind the bookshelf. No lights, no sound. I lay in bed, eyes closed, but sleep wouldn't come, not anymore. The footage started off uneventful, just me shifting in bed, breathing heavily, then stillness, then movement. A shape just at the edge of the frame, barely visible. The dark figure entered silently from the other side of the bed, hunched low, focused, methodical. I paused the video at 2:13 a.m. The man my daughter had drawn with no face, in that very same posture, was unmistakable. Through the slouch of the shoulder, the gait. I'd seen him before. Not here, not in person, but on my Mike's phone. Photo once, a coworker she used to mention. Harmless, she said it like a joke, laughed too easily. His name was Caleb. I never liked how her voice sounded when she said it, so I never asked again. And now, here he was, inside my house next to my bed, near my daughter. My wife made pancakes that morning, smiled the same way she always did, but her eyes flicked too quickly when I asked if anything was wrong. "Why?" she said. "Did something happen?" I said no and smiled. I became a shadow, silent, watchful, calculating. I pulled the old laptop out of storage, reinstalled the recovery software. Every photo, every deleted message, every hidden file. She hadn't even tried to cover her tracks. Months of messages, photos, hotel receipts buried in PDFs, flights I didn't know she took. My name was nowhere, but his was always there. And then I saw it. A picture of my daughter taken from behind at the park with him, not me. I had been there, close enough to reach out to her, close enough to feel my hands clench, but I held back. Instead, I saved everything onto a drive. She still gave me a goodnight kiss, still looked me in the eye. Unaware that I had begun securing my daughter's window, replacing locks on the back door, contacting a lawyer, running a DNA test, and having a tech analyst friend trace Caleb's number to an apartment just 30 minutes away where she had been more than once. I knew the exact number of steps from our door to my daughter's room, 17. He could have covered it in 10. For 6 nights, sleep eluded me. Every morning, I would watch the camera footage, depicting the same times, same patterns, the same habits. Except on the 7th night when he halted, faced the camera, tilted his head, and grinned. In a plain manila envelope, the results arrived quietly and cleanly. The DNA test only affirmed what the footage had already revealed. She was not my daughter. Not biologically, not legally, not anymore. Yet she still affectionately called me Daddy. When she finally opened the folder, it felt like my ribs were filled with shattered glass. That evening, I waited patiently until all the chores were done. Our daughter was fast asleep, and my wife had settled on the couch with a glass of wine, a forced smile, and a pillow wedged between us. Without saying a word, I handed her the folder. I watched as she opened it, read its contents, her mouth agape, then closing, a slight tremble followed by tears. I stood unmoving. "Is this?" she whispered. I simply nodded. As she reached out towards me, I instinctively drew back. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. I remained silent. There was no need to speak. She now knew that I was aware of the truth. The next day, I picked up our daughter from school, and we drove to the outskirts of town. A lawyer was waiting for us in the office, everything already prepared. Custody arrangements were made, a restraining order was signed, and legal papers were served at Caleb's apartment that same morning. Surveillance footage, incriminating texts, and all evidence were submitted. With a steady hand, I signed the final document. Then I left the office with my daughter by my side without looking back. That evening, she presented me with a new drawing. This time it depicted just the two of us, with me holding onto our daughter tightly, a symbol of our newfound strength and unity. Gently taking her hand, the man in black was gone. I kissed her forehead and told her to sleep. I watched over her that night, not because I had to, but because I chose to. My wife called once, left a voicemail. "I never meant to hurt you," she said. "You were the only good thing." She was wrong. My daughter was the good thing. Even if the blood didn't match, the love did. I deleted the voicemail. There was no need to respond. Some betrayals don't end in screaming, they end in silence. And silence is what I gave her forever.